It's just white girls.
Don't you like it when these diamonds look like wristbands?
So today in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can make the best patacones. And if you don't know what patacones are, it's basically kind of like a sandwich or like a chimi, but like in the shell, I guess, or the bread would be the green plantains. So what you need, of course, are some plantains. You need some mayonnaise, ketchup, some chicken or beef or whatever you want to fill the patacon with, some garlic, and then I'm using some hamburger sauce, some salt, some cheese, which we're gonna fry, some lettuce. You can also add tomatoes, whatever you want, some Parmesan cheese, barbecue, some sazones like adobo, some vinegar for the lettuce, and some oil to fry the patacones. So I just washed my plantains, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel them off, and then I'm going to cut them right in the middle half. So when you cut the plantains, be careful to not take no skin out of the plantains, because we need the entire plantain. Like, that's gonna be the bread, the main part of this meal and recipe. So while you're cutting your plantains or whatever, you also want to have some boiling water ready, because after you're done peeling the plantains, you want to cut them in half and then put them inside the water. So yeah, make sure you have some water ready. So after you have peeled your plantains, now what you want to do is you want to cut them in half. So we're going to cut all of them right down the middle. So after about 5 minutes after your plantains have started to boil, now what you want to do is you want to take them all out and you want to put them in a napkin or some bounty, anywhere that they can dry off. This is because you do not want to overcook them, because we know we're going to fry them in Taking out your plantains out of the water, now you want to get a pan and you want to put it in medium to high, and now you're going to take some oil. It doesn't matter what kind, but now we're just going to put this. We're going to pour the oil. Make sure it's a sufficient amount, because we're going to fry the plantains. Before you put your plantains into the hot oil, make sure they are dry, because if they are wet and they have some water, then the oil and the water will not match well together, and then all the oil will try and come up. So yeah, be extra careful. So what you want to do is you want to put the plantains into the oil. Kind of want to put it into the oil. We're going to do that with all of them. The stove is at around high, and now you want to leave the plantains cooking on one side and then flip it around like 2 to 3 minutes later, and just be flipping them, checking them, make sure they cook well. It's been a few minutes later, and I've just been moving around the plantains in the oil, and make sure you do not overcook them or over fry them, because we're going to fry them again once we smash them down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plantains out, and what I've already done is I've already taken out 2 pieces of aluminum foil, and I'm going to show you guys why, but make sure you have aluminum foil available to you or plastic wrap. Turn off the stove, and one by one you kind of want to take the plantains out and put it in some bounty or somewhere you can kind of dry the oil away. If you have done this, what you want to do is one by one you want to take one of the plantains and you want to put it on top of the aluminum foil or plastic wrap, and then you're going to take the other piece and you're going to put it on top. This is because we're going to smush it down with a plate. So have it under, top. We're going to take a plate. So we're going to take the plate and we're going to press down. And then this is how it should be. So this is how you make the big plantains, the patacones. This is going to be the bread and the shell. We're going to refry it, but before we do that, we're going to make sure we push all of these down and have them ready to all fry at the same time. When you're moving it, make sure you grab it with a fork or something light, because it is kind of delicate. After I smushed down all the plantains, and now what we want to do is we want to put them back into frying. So I've already turned on the stove, and now what we're going to do is we're going to carefully put them on top of the oil. So now what we want to do is we want to fry them each side by side for about 2 to 3 minutes each, and just be careful because some of them broke, as you can tell with this one, but it's still good. Just be careful when you're flipping around and make sure you're keeping a watch on this. I just flipped them around. I'm still keeping an eye on them. So this is the aftermath of me taking the plantains out of the hot oil, and what I did is I placed them in like a top and bottom pair type of thing, as we would do with bread slices or a sandwich. So now what we're going to do is we're going to prepare the lettuce, the chicken, the cheese, and mayonnaise, ketchup, everything we would like in a sandwich. So cut down my lettuce, and then I'm gonna wash it, add some vinegar, some olive oil, just prepare it, and then I'm going to fry the cheese, prepare my chicken. So yeah, what you can do right now is prepare whatever you want inside the patacones. For me, it would be these 3 main things and then the sauce. So I've prepared my lettuce, and now I've taken the cheese out of the container, and now what I want to do is I don't want to cut it normally. I want to cut it kind of like this way, so then I can cut it in half and it can be around the same size as the patacon, and then we're going to fry it or whatever. Make sure you're using queso tropical, which is the frying cheese that doesn't melt. So I cut my cheese this way, as I said, and then now it was like this, and so I sliced it, and now we're going to fry it. Okay, so I've already had some pre-made chicken. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shred it, and then I'm going to add mayonnaise, ketchup, barbecue sauce, some salt, parmesan, sugar, and then mix it together. And this is the chicken I'm using, which adds so much flavor to the patacon. So this is my shredded chicken, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some mayonnaise and then some ketchup and everything I said before. Added everything I wanted to add into the shredded chicken, and now what I want to do is you want to put the top, and now you want to shake it really well and mix it. So you're going to mix. After you mixed, you can also decide to just mix it with a spoon and kind of smush down the chicken. So I'm doing both. I already kind of mixed it, and now I'm also doing it with a spoon. So this is the aftermath of how my chicken looks. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fry the cheese that I have ready to fry, and then after this I'm just going to put everything into the patacon. So you want to have everything ready. I'm going to start taking off the cheese and then put it into this bounty. I take a small tiny piece of garlic, and I kind of just shred it on top of the patacones for flavor. This is kind of an add-on, but I feel like this does make a difference. So I didn't overdo it with the garlic. I only added a little bit, but now what we're going to do is we're going to add our mayonnaise and ketchup just like we would do on a regular sandwich or a chimi. So we're just going to kind of do this to each side, and then we will mix it. So then we'll spread it around and do the same with the ketchup. So after you have done that, now you want to add the lettuce that you have prepared already, seasoned, and you only want to add this to one side because one of the sides is going to be the top covering. So only add it to one of the patacones. What to do is we're going to add our chicken or beef or whatever you have prepared. Once you have your lettuce and your chicken, now you want to add the cheese that we have fried, which is a perfect size for the patacon. So we're going to do this to each one of them. And after we have the cheese, now we're going to add a little bit more lettuce, not as much, just kind of a drizzle at the top. And then we're going to do the same with the chicken. Now this is how your patacones should be looking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some burger sauce at the top and then some Parmesan cheese as well. Then we will close this off and you will be done. Now look how good this looks.
Don't you like it when these diamonds look like wristlet? I'm a